So we've worked together for over a decade. You know, I think 2012 was the
Yeah.
first time. And we've worked in the same circles for a lot of that time. You have a way of really simplifying complex things. And I think that's part of what helps you build really great tech companies. Talk me through your approach to how you're doing that here with Plansight.
Well, in any industry, you can't solve everything as a technology company. And I think that it's really important that we narrow down what our focus is, because if we say that we're doing everything in an employee benefit brokerage arena, then you're never really great at anything. You're just taking on too much. But there are certain elements. And I came into this organization already where the founders had already defined that they wanted to be the most complete end-to-end renewal and marketing solution, all the way from the beginning of starting and triggering events for the renewal, which typically happens to the end of delivering a very well orchestrated or put together client presentation that illustrates the work that that broker did to be able to find the most comprehensive and affordable benefit package that they could offer that employer. And really, how I approach that in any industry is I'm looking at every step involved, the workflow. I'm not focused on features. A lot of companies will get mixed up and focusing on, oh, if I had a tool that could do this. And then what ends up happening is you've got a bunch of tools. Or if you're Frankenstein, you've created this monster of feature sets that people have to try to puzzle together to be able to find benefit out of it. And that's not what we want to do here. That's not what I've ever done in any technology company. It's not creating a bunch of tools. It's really evaluating that workflow and identifying any limiting factors in that workflow and identifying what elements can technology automate or completely handle without the user even be involved in it. And then we start breaking it down step by step. So now it's a piece of technology that just fits in their workflow versus a tool that someone's got to log into to use to complete their workflow. Does that make sense? And that's how we focus on that. And that's how we approach it here at Plansight too. And I think we're doing a really, really good job. When I first came here, that wasn't the case. It was more of an application full of a bunch of features,
Mhm.
and the workflow was kind of an afterthought. But the market was there, the opportunity was there, the need for a product fit was there. And so over the last couple of years, we've really been defining our solution to fit within that broker's workflow. You have to remember too, for 20 plus years, Adam, these benefit brokers, they're professionals, they're licensed professionals. They've been creating systems and processes around this workflow for decades,
Mhm.
right? And I think that they've already identified what works really well with the circumstances that they're given on how they interact with employers and carriers. We just need to figure out how to automate a lot of the heavy work. And that's what we're doing a good job of.
Yeah. You mentioned in the last question that it's something that stayed a little bit archaic and manual. And I think that is because it's not because people don't know what a system could solve.
Right.
It's because it is so complicated that's why it stayed manual. Okay, well,
Well,
person can do this.
you say complicated, it's complicated. And every year, carriers kind of change this complication too, because they throw out different plan designs and they include things or combine attributes that weren't previously combined before, or they start breaking out attributes.
Mhm.
Diagnostic services and blood work, for example, I'm now seeing carriers break those out into two line items where they used to be one.
Mm.
And so, yeah, systems that you establish get disrupted by other parties that you don't have a lot of control on. And so you've got to think about that when you're building technology to support this, to be able to not be so rigid in your boxes that you're putting together so that you can support any scenario that's out there. But it is complex. Benefits is far more complex than I think most, at least employers understand,
Yeah.
which is why we have brokers to help navigate that.